You spend 20 minutes comparing prices to save $3 on paper towels. Then you pay $47 in ATM fees this year without blinking. You'll drive across town for a gas station that's 8 cents cheaper per gallon. But that $12.99 monthly subscription you forgot about? It's been auto-renewing for 14 months. You're not careless. You're not lazy. But somehow certain dollars feel like they don't count. Like they exist in a different economy than the dollars you actually pay attention to. And the weirdest part? You can't always explain which dollars matter and which ones don't. Last Tuesday, you spent 45 minutes researching which brand of olive oil offered the best price per ounce. You saved $2.30. You felt smart, responsible, like someone who takes their finances seriously. Then on Friday, you Ubered home instead of taking the train because it was raining. $18. Didn't think twice about it. Sunday morning, you bought a $7 coffee at the fancy place instead of making it at home. Monday, you paid $4.99 for same-day shipping on a phone case that could have arrived free on Thursday. None of these felt connected. The olive oil money felt real, tangible, worth protecting. But the Uber money? That felt like convenience tax. The coffee money felt like self-care. The shipping money felt like time, not actual dollars, not the same dollars you saved on olive oil. Those transactions happened in some other category, some other mental account where math worked differently. By the end of the month, you saved $12 on groceries through careful shopping and spent $89 on random conveniences, forgotten subscriptions, and fees you didn't notice until your credit card statement arrived. You didn't mean to. You're not financially reckless. You just have this strange ability to treat some money like it exists in a parallel universe where spending rules don't apply. If this sounds familiar, it's not because you're bad with money. It's because you're human. And humans don't see money as money. We see it as categories, feelings, and stories. And some stories matter more than others. What's happening in your brain is called mental accounting. You're not treating all dollars the same because, psychologically, they're not the same. A dollar you earned feels different than a dollar you found. A dollar you budgeted feels different than a dollar from a tax refund. A dollar you're spending on something visible feels different than a dollar disappearing into a subscription you don't use. Your brain has created separate accounts for separate types of money, and each account has its own rules. The grocery money lives in your responsible adult account. That money has to be defended, optimized, accounted for. It's money you can see yourself spending, in a store, making choices that feel consequential. But the Uber money? That lives in your quality of life account. That money buys comfort, convenience, time. It feels like investment in yourself, not spending. The subscription money lives in your invisible obligations account. Money that leaves automatically, without decision, without pain, without you having to watch it go. Here's the trap. Your brain treats these accounts as separate, but your bank account doesn't. Every dollar comes from the same place. But you don't feel that. You feel like you're being careful with the grocery money while being reasonable with the convenience money. Meanwhile, the convenience money is erasing all the work you did optimizing the grocery money. You saved $12 and spent $89, but it doesn't feel that way because they came from different mental accounts. The exhausting part is that you know this is happening. You see the credit card bill. You feel the low-grade anxiety of money leaving faster than it should. But knowing doesn't change the feeling in the moment. In the moment, the Uber still feels like it doesn't count. The coffee still feels like self-care, not spending. The subscription still feels invisible until someone points it out. And if nothing changes, you'll spend the next 5 years meticulously tracking some dollars while letting others evaporate. You'll feel simultaneously frugal and broke, careful and careless, all at once. Here's the shift. Money doesn't have categories. You do. And the categories you've created are designed to make spending feel good, not to reflect reality. When you call something convenience instead of spending, you're not describing the transaction. You're giving yourself permission. The money doesn't care what you call it. But you do. And that's the entire problem. You've built a system where certain types of spending don't feel like spending at all. The solution isn't tracking every penny or feeling guilty about the coffee. It's recognizing that money is fungible. That's the economic term. It means every dollar is identical, interchangeable. $1 saved on olive oil is $1 available for Uber. They're the same dollar. Your brain wants to keep them separate because separation allows inconsistency. Consistency requires facing the trade-off. First principle, the fungibility rule. Every dollar you spend on one thing is a dollar you can't spend on something else. This sounds obvious, but you don't live like it's true. You live like grocery dollars and convenience dollars come from different sources. They don't. So the question becomes, if you had $100 cash in your hand right now, would you spend $18 on that Uber? Or would you take the train and keep the $18? If the answer changes when it's cash, then you're not responding to value. You're responding to payment method, to invisibility, to mental accounting. If this is making sense, consider subscribing for more insights like this. Second principle, the annual translation. Take any recurring cost and multiply it by 12. That $12.99 subscription isn't $12.99. It's $156. That $7 coffee 3 times a week isn't $21. It's $1,092 a year. That $4 ATM fee twice a month isn't $8. It's $96. When you see the annual number, the mental account collapses. It stops being invisible convenience money and starts being actual money. Money you could spend on something you'd actually remember. Something that would change your life more than coffee you drink while scrolling your phone. This isn't about deprivation. It's about honesty. Maybe the $1,092 in fancy coffee is worth it to you. Maybe it genuinely improves your year more than anything else you could buy with that money. Fine. But you have to decide that consciously. Not just let it happen because coffee money lives in a different mental account than vacation money or emergency fund money. Third principle, the visibility standard. If you wouldn't spend it in cash, you shouldn't spend it on a card. Cash is painful. You feel it leave your hand. Cards are abstract. Subscriptions are invisible. The more abstract the payment, the less it feels like spending. But it is. So before you buy anything, ask, would I pull out my wallet and hand over this much in bills? If the answer is no, then you're not buying because you want it. You're buying because the payment method hides the cost. Here's why this works. Your brain uses mental accounting to reduce decision fatigue. If you had to evaluate every purchase with the same scrutiny, you'd be exhausted. So your brain creates shortcuts, categories where spending is pre-approved. Convenience purchases feel okay because you've decided convenience is worth paying for. Subscription purchases feel okay because you decided once, months ago, and haven't revisited the decision. The problem isn't the shortcuts. The problem is that the shortcuts are outdated. You created that convenience category when you had different priorities, different income, different life. You approved that subscription when you thought you'd use it. But your brain doesn't update the categories automatically. It just keeps applying the old rules. So you keep spending on convenience you don't value and subscriptions you don't use because your mental accounting system hasn't caught up to your actual life. The alternative isn't evaluating every purchase from scratch. That's impossible. The alternative is updating your categories consciously, deciding right now what's actually worth automatic approval and what needs scrutiny. Maybe convenience is worth it when you're truly exhausted, but not when you're just mildly inconvenienced. Maybe subscriptions are worth it when you use them weekly, but not when you use them never. You're not removing the shortcuts. You're making sure the shortcuts lead where you actually want to go. This requires one uncomfortable evening. You pull up 3 months of bank statements. You categorize everything, not by merchant, by mental account. Which purchases felt important? Which felt invisible? Which felt like they didn't count? You'll see the pattern immediately. You're meticulous about some categories and oblivious about others. The work is deciding, intentionally, where you want to be meticulous, and where you're willing to let money go. Then you build friction in the right places. You delete payment info from sites where you impulse buy. You set subscriptions to manual renewal instead of automatic. You withdraw weekly cash for convenience spending, and when it's gone, it's gone. You're not trying to eliminate the mental accounts. You're trying to make them visible. Because once they're visible, they can't hide costs anymore. That uncomfortable evening saves you from hundreds of uncomfortable moments throughout the year when you realize you've been spending money on things you don't remember buying. In Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman describes how our brains use two systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. System 2 is slow, deliberate, logical. Mental accounting is pure System 1. It's your brain trying to make spending painless by hiding it in categories where it doesn't hurt. But System 1 doesn't care about your goals. It cares about avoiding discomfort right now. The research on payment methods proves this. Studies show people spend 12 to 18% more when using credit cards versus cash. Not because cards give them access to more money. Because cards activate System 1. They make spending feel abstract, painless, like it's happening in a different category than real spending. Your brain is doing what it's designed to do. It's protecting you from the discomfort of watching money leave. But in protecting you from small discomforts, it's creating a bigger one. The slow realization that you have less money than you should. You don't have inconsistent spending habits. You have consistent habits based on inconsistent categories. And those categories were designed by your emotions, your marketing environment, and your desire to avoid pain. Not by your actual priorities. The $3 you save on paper towels and the $18 you spend on Uber are the same money. But one purchase makes you feel smart, and the other makes you feel taken care of. You're not protecting dollars. You're protecting feelings. And feelings are expensive when they're disguised as financial decisions. So maybe the question isn't why you treat some money like it doesn't matter. Maybe it's why you needed to create a category where money doesn't matter in the first place. Because money always matters. Every dollar, every time. But living like that's true feels hard. So you built a system where some dollars get a pass, where some spending doesn't count, where you can be both careful and careless at the same time. You can keep that system. Or you can face what it's actually costing you, not just in dollars, in the gap between who you think you are with money and who you actually are.